Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another live episode of Against All Odds. Today, another special guest. Somebody that I grew up watching, somebody that I grew up admiring. Um, his game was amazing, and he was the ultimate player, the ultimate team player. Not only just that, this man had a career that just was unmatched. I would say, one of my favorite college players of all time. I literally grew up wanting to be this guy, man. It's going to be an amazing pleasure to have Nolan Smith on today.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, bro? Oh man, I'm doing good, man.
Man, I
It's good to
appreciate you
have you
having me,
on, man. It's
man.
an honor.
Appreciate you having me.
I know for sure. One thing I want to start off saying, this right here is like bucket list for me. This is something that I really wanted to do because I grew up watching you, bro. I grew up being a big fan of you, and not only just that, I grew up wanting to be you, bro. I grew up wanting to go to Duke just because I seen you on the team. I seen somebody that I watched that came from Oak Hill, and it was just amazing to watch you. It was amazing to fall in love with your game, and you are literally, man, the ultimate person because not only are you great on the court, you're great off the court.
I
So
appreciate
I want to give you your
that, man,
flowers
for
and let
real.
you know that
Appreciate that.
for sure. The first thing that I want to get into, you
Yep,
were
yep.
born in
Louisville,
Louisville,
Kentucky.
Kentucky,
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you remember from being in Louisville, and also
Yep,
talk to
yep.
me
So
a
I,
little bit
I
about your
lived in
father?
Louisville till I was 6 years old. Then my dad got the job with the Washington Bullets, go to PG County then.
Sure.
But then, a lot of my summers were spent in Louisville until I was probably 11, 12. Once I started playing AAU, because then once I started playing AAU, then I was locked in with the Maryland Crusaders, and then obviously after that DC Assault. So I didn't come back as often here to Louisville, but I had a lot of good younger years here in this city.
For sure. So your dad being a NBA player, not only just that, being an amazing NCAA player, winning a national championship. How did that feel as a kid, knowing
Yeah, I
that your
mean it was
father was
it
this
was
guy?
cool. I mean, obviously getting to go to games and be a ball boy at the USA Arena, and just knowing that my dad was somebody who was playing at the highest level, coaching at the highest level. It obviously gave me something to shoot for at an early age. The ball was basically placed in my hands at birth, being around it, at basketball camps that my dad was running, just everything. Obviously, I lost him when I was 8 years old. So after that, I just had the memories from so many of my uncles, like my now head coach, Kenny Payne, Johnny Dawkins, Charles Barkley, Chris Webber, Juwan Howard, Rod Strickland. Like the list goes on and on. These guys became my uncles, my mentors, people that just stayed in my life forever, and always just kind of kept me on the grind, knowing that I wanted to follow my dad's footsteps, and kept me hungry.
Nice. So you talked about losing your father. Before we touch into that more, what do you remember about being at those Washington
Man,
Bullet
seeing the
practices?
players all the time. I remember going for rides and Chris Webber's Hummer and hanging out with Howard and Robert Pack and Rod Strickland, just watching these guys every single day coming to the gym and you know, have a job that they all love, which is playing the game of basketball. So I just always just be soaking that up, watching them, and didn't know it at the time, but I was really taking notes. Didn't realize it was even at an early age, like
Yeah.
when that's what you're around, you're seeing it. I'm seeing it now with my son who's 2. But I see him pick up things just naturally because he's around it every single day. He always wants the ball in his hand. So it's really cool that when you're
Yeah.
young, you're really just observing, and then all of a sudden you start trying to do it.
That's so dope, man. So around this time, you end up going to these Washington Bullets practices. Did you know at the time that did you know at the time that this was something that you wanted to do, was pursue basketball as a kid?
Yeah, I definitely knew it at an early age. I knew it was. basketball was something that I fell in love with right away. But when my dad passed, I think naturally, like there was some emotions there that kind of, challenged my love for the game and what I wanted to do. But then I quickly got back on the path of like, all right, just because my dad ain't here doesn't mean I can't still accomplish my dreams and my goals. So then I really locked in, and my mom kept me driven on my dreams, and just kept me on the right path to reach the levels of success that I was able to do. And it wasn't easy because a lot comes with being the son of an NBA player. You have a target on your back from day one. I think that's one thing I think about it now. I think like, a lot of people like have the story of I got out the mud, or I was underrated, or I was, you know, nobody appreciated me,
Yeah,
and then I made it. Like that story's cool, but then there's also the story of having a target on your back your whole life and still accomplish, still
yeah,
make it. The Steph Currys, you hear all this stuff. Oh, you're supposed to make your dad play in the NBA. Like, nah, you don't just wake up and become an NBA player. You got to work for it. Well,
for sure. Growing up in Chicago, actually,
yeah,
Michael Jordan's sons go through that was kind of tough as well. So I could imagine how much of a target you had on your back, and not only just that, how much when you got on the court, it was just so
it's
much
always.
pressure every time to perform. How did growing up in Maryland prepare you for
Oh,
those type
oh
of
man, prepared me at,
battles?
at the highest level because I was surrounded by guys that shared the same dream, right? So I went to the gym,
Hmm.
I had competition. I had brothers. I had guys that were going to push me to the highest level. I could name off about 30 guys. I mean, a couple guys in my class, obviously Chris Wright went to Georgetown, Austin Freeman, Adrian Bowie, Michael Beasley. Then class ahead of us, you had Ty Lawson, Kevin Durant, Jeff Green in the area. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. DeMar Johnson, who was a big brother to me. So many guys. Devin Sweetney, who you had on here, one of my teammates.
Yeah,
So many guys I could list. If I hate listening to so many guys in the air because then I feel bad forgetting somebody. But every last one of
you
them
forgetting.
played a part in my journey, and I think they'd all say the same thing because we were so close, we were so competitive that if I didn't have them, who knows, how much you get better every single day when you're in the gym with those guys. So those guys challenge you.
My question to you is, what advice would you give to someone who has that not only just the added pressure of an NBA player's son? What advice do you give to someone that just has added pressure on them when it comes to basketball, or when it comes to any other thing that they're trying to get involved
Yeah,
in, or any
yeah.
other
I mean,
obstacle
I
that they
think the
might
main thing
face?
I think Damian Lillard touched on it pretty like not too long ago, where he talked about like fighting in the hospital with cancer is pressure, right? When you're going through that, you don't know if you're going to
Yeah,
live the next day. That's pressure, right? Basketball isn't pressure, right? We want it to be our life, and we want to make a career out of it. But at the end of the day, we get to play a game that we love, and we get to go after it, right? There's no pressure in that, right? You
yeah,
can put added pressure on you, and then you make it harder on yourself to make a shot or score 20 points because you feel like you have to do it. Like, no, you have a job to do. And if you
yeah,
put the work in, right, it's going to happen if you put the work in. If you dedicate yourself to your craft, if you work nonstop, right, just go have fun and let your work take care of itself. Ain't no pressure in that, right? Ain't no pressure in that.
Well, my next question to you is, when you go to high school, you go to your
Yep.
first high school, you go to St. John's. What influenced that decision, and also how did it feel to first go to high school, and be playing basketball amongst,
Yeah. Yeah,
players
so now
that's
I mean,
older
choosing
than you?
St. John's was a great decision. Playing in the WCAC conference, I teamed up with Chris Wright, Dwayne Anderson went to Nova, Dante Cunningham went to Nova, Jason Wills. I mean, everybody in our top five went high D1, and a couple NBA dudes. Like it was a very special group to be a part of. Being in DC, obviously playing against the Matha, Gonzaga, playing against all these teams. I think still to this day, it's one of the best high school basketball leagues in the country. Um, the DMV area is consistent with that, just as far as that level of basketball staying at a high level. Um, but it was definitely it was a great school. But then just the basketball opportunity to go there and get pushed by those guys, Those were again some of those guys that I mentioned. Just every single day, we got to practice against one another, push each other. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I never wanted to duck any smoke. Right, I always wanted to play with the best, play against the best. Because I always feel like if you can be a star amongst stars, that's when you know you're a star. Right? If you want to be a star on a team with just a bunch of just average dudes, anybody stick out like that, right? I want to stick out amongst the guys that they say are the guys, right? That means I'm that guy too. Then, if I'm right there, if not better, right?
Yeah.
Now we get healthy competition and we get each other better.
It's so funny because that's something that I always wonder. I always wondered if you got a chance to think back at how many great players that you played alongside. And not only just that, dude, so many players will fold up in those positions, and you literally always held your own and more, plus more. You literally always were one of those best players. How did you keep that
Yep,
mentality when
yep.
you were
So
on the court
I
with
think
other
it's
great
one thing
players?
I did it from day one. Like when I started playing county basketball, AAU, on through high school. So I was always ready for that. I was always ready to never take a back seat, but I always knew how to play well with other players, right? Basketball sports. So you got to know how to
Mm-hmm.
do that in order to be successful. At the end of the day, when you reach the highest level in the NBA, 1 through 15 is really good, right? You ain't really never gonna have your own team once you
Yeah.
get to that level. So I always wanted to be able to showcase myself with other talented guys. I feel like that just helped me as a player. I never looked at myself as like this freak athlete or just dominant dude. Like I had guys in my class that I looked at that were just dominant. Like Derrick Rose was just a dominant freak, right? He was different than me, but
Yeah.
obviously me doing it my way, I was really good. But I was able to just showcase myself by playing alongside Ty Lawson, Brandon Jennings, playing with Mike Beasley my whole life, playing with Devin Sweetney. And when you come to the gym, you're gonna see Michael Beasley, but then be like, dang, well, that youngin right there can go too. He right there with him. And shoot, on this night, better player.
Mm-hmm.
I was never afraid of that. I never had an ego that made me feel like, well, man, I don't want to play with him. I want to go at him. Like it's okay. Like look, at the end of the day, I also wanted to win, right? But I also knew that if I play with this guy, he's gonna help me get it. I'm gonna help him get better.
For sure. So after going to St. John's, you make the third team all conference. What influenced
Yep,
your
yep. So
decision to go to
I left
Riverdale
St.
Baptist?
John's mainly because we moved. So we lived in DC at the time, out up in Marlboro,
Mm-hmm.
Maryland, and my commute to school used to be the the metro bus to the metro train to the school bus, and I was waking up at like 5 a.m. So the first
It's
them
crazy.
first couple periods of school, man, I used to be in that train like this. I was writing my mom like, man, Nolan's not staying awake in class. So forth and so forth. I was like, Mom, I can't. Like, I'm getting there so early. It's kind of messing with my basketball routine, trying to get in the gym early. So then I couldn't do that. So it just messed up my whole flow of just life as a sophomore in high school. So Riverdale Baptist was 5 minutes away. Michael Beasley at that time was moving in with us, and he was going to be homeschooled. So it just ended up being just a great move for both of us to go to Riverdale.
I'm glad that you touched on Mike Beasley. How was the dynamic between you two having just these two different personalities? How did you all click, and how did you guys know that you were how did you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
first know you were going to be
So
friends?
crazy story. So we first met. Mike was on house arrest, right? He was on part, see
Wow,
Pleasant, Maryland, and I'd go over there and I'd take him food. My mom or whoever, me, Curtis, whoever it was, and then I was asked to stay the night. So then I stayed one night, and I stayed 2 nights, and I ended up staying a whole week over at his house. I get picked up to go work out, then I go back over, and we just started kicking it, became really close friends. And then when he got off house arrest, around that time, that's when they're like, hey, all right, well, then he'd come to our house and stay for a day, 2 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, boom. Now here he is moving in with us because it was the best situation for him to just grow and develop as a young man. And as a way, we hit it off, right? We were different. We came from two different worlds, but we kind of we came together. It worked, right? It worked. he would try and do wild things. I was, nah, Mike, that ain't it. We can't do that. Like we got to do this. We got to go to the gym. I kind of gave him the
Yeah.
structure that he needed, but then he showed me a different life as well that I needed, right? So then it all kind of folded all into one. And then at the end of the day, when it came to basketball, man, we used to walk miles just to play one-on-one and then walk home and just compete and fight. Got in a lot of fights, physical. Once we were done fighting, all
Yeah.
love.
Oh man. One thing I want to say is that I really do. I love Michael Beasley, man. Again, at that
Yep.
time, D Rose was coming out as well. I remember him and D Rose was to the Chicago Bulls and to the Miami Heat. I'll never forget it. Um, I thought that Michael Beasley at that time was literally one of the greatest players in high school and also college. And when he went to the league, he also panned out to be a pretty good player. I think he
Yes.
is underrated and underappreciated. But when you played at Riverdale Baptist, tell me what it was like playing for a new team and having to fit in
Yeah. I
when you
mean,
just came
I
from a
think
different school.
just listening to Devin Sweetney's interview that y'all did, he hit it on the head where he talked about just those guys embraced us, right? They embraced me and Mike Beasley. They didn't fight these two talented sophomores coming in and trying to be like, man, this is our team. Like they embraced us, so that made it very easy for us to go in there and just be great teammates with them too. And at the end of the day, we all just wanted to win. Any given night, Devin Sweetney led the team in scoring. I led the team in scoring. Mike Beasley led the team in scoring. Right? We all took turns and we all were able to showcase our skills. But it was, Coach Lou Wilson, one of my favorite coaches. Like now he's coaching at Wise, still back home, PG County, but just a great dude, loving dude, took care of us, coached us hard, but also loved us. Like one, just it was just a great blend of a coach that just understood what we were all trying to do.
It's dope, man. So you end up going to play there, and you guys are playing with literally almost a stacked team. You guys have all these great players. Um, how did it feel to be winning? How did it feel to be this kid growing up in Maryland? And I'm not sure what you had in mind for
Yeah.
your basketball career up to that point, but you're going to these schools and you're being one of the best players on the team, and you go to Riverdale to a new school and a new environment as well, and you're able to go there and be one of the best players as
Man, it
well.
felt
How did
good. I
that
mean, I
feel?
think whenever you're able to just continue to climb and show, okay, like I'm getting better, I'm able to play against this group or go against this group, and I'm still that guy. I'm still rising in the rankings. I'm still performing every single night, whether I'm scoring 20, 30, whatever it was. Like I think you show yourself, okay, you're getting better, or you're starting to become nationally known. That those type of things, I think that's like, check. Just continue to check the box as far as where you are as a player, setting new goals, whether it's weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals. Are you hitting your check marks? Are you scratching that off the list? Whether it's opponent, like I remember my sophomore year, we played against Malcolm Delaney and Dante Green. Malcolm was from Malcolm was from Baltimore. That was
Hmm.
my guy, but it was a battle, and I feel like I'd won that game. We won the game, and I played. That was like another tip, like because I looked at Malcolm was one of those guys from up 95. I was like, man, like if I can go at him, I can get him, man. Like check, got him, because he was that dude too.
Yeah.
Went to Virginia Tech, long time career overseas, big time player, played with the Hawks. Huge fan of Malcolm Delaney, but those are the things. Just when you're able to just get those head to head matchups, that's when you just you feel like you've done something. But then you also know you have more work to do.
Yeah. Now,
Yep.
after this, you end up going to Oak Hill, which is when I first heard about you. When you went to Oak Hill, you end up playing with, well,
Put
I
together.
believe Michael Beasley came with you as well, right? Yeah, for sure. So you play with Ty Lawson, you play with Brandon Jennings. Again, another team where it was a
Yep.
an abundance of talent, and you literally was able to
Yep.
go there and be Nolan Smith. You were able to be the person that you have trained to be. How did that feel to go to Oak Hill and play with these different players, and also
Yep.
be in a different
So
environment
it was a
again?
challenge. That first year was a challenge. You go up to Oak Hill, you're in the middle of nowhere. It's only basketball. Yeah, no cell phone service. Like there's a lot of different things. It's different. You're just really just ready for the basketball season to start as you're going through school those first couple months. But going there and playing with Ty Lawson, Mike Beasley, Jeff Allen, Albert Jackson. We had a very good squad. We went 40-1 that year. Again, it's the same
Yeah,
thing. Here you are, a new challenge, playing for the legendary coach Steve Smith. You're going from city to city, state to state, playing against the best team in every city, every state, and you're being challenged. You got to perform, right? So you got to step up to the table. Again, you have this target on your back. Now it's even bigger because now you're at Oak Hill. So now you think you got a
yeah,
name, but now you're also at a school that has a name. Now you got to step up and show that you belong, or you are who you are, right? You got to show exactly what it is every time you step on the court.
for sure. This how humble of a person you are. You said you just blew past this. You said we went 40-1. Like, and then and after that you was like, we played the toughest competition. Like like what you saying right now is really, it speaks volume on one, the type of person you are and the type of player you are on the court. For you to be able to play amongst the best competition and always be able to be literally um maybe in a championship or showcasing your talent to different players and getting the best of different players. Um, dude, that's truly amazing because that's what I seen from you watching you as a kid. Now you make the McDonald's All American game. Nolan Smith is a McDonald's All American. How did that feel? Just thinking back at your dad and how he raised you and how he put you around basketball and you were able to
Man, it was
become
a
a McDonald's All
blessing,
American. How did
man.
that
That's
feel?
definitely a blessing. Just one of those. It was one of those things on my list that I wanted to accomplish, and I accomplished it. So, I mean, had to pay my respects to all my trainers and everybody that helped me get to that point, and my sister and people that drove me to the gym all hours and picked me up when I didn't have a license. A lot of people put in a lot of work and sacrifice to help a young basketball player reach his dream, and that was one of those moments where it was like, man, like I made it to this point. I'm McDonald's All American. I get to go back to Louisville and play the game. That was crazy in
Mm,
itself. Just when you think about just your life becoming a movie. Like there's so many things that in my path that have just aligned, and that was one of them. Going back to Louisville, I didn't choose Louisville as my school of choice, even though everybody thought this was going to be my choice. But to have my McDonald's game back where I was born, like that was crazy. I didn't even know it
yeah.
was one of the cities that the McDonald's games played in. I know it's always been in Chicago, or it had been in Houston, or been in Miami, like different cities, and then just 2007, it's in Louisville. So that was crazy.
Yo,
Yeah, yeah,
yo, that's like a movie. Crazy. Like, no, that's like a movie. And then your dad won a national
yeah,
championship there. Like, that's like a
yeah.
movie, bro. Man, that's crazy. So being a McDonald's All American, you said that felt good. Now you about to get a chance to play for
Mm-hmm.
Coach K. You about to get a chance to go to Duke. And this is literally where I feel like Nolan Smith, that me and my friends, we literally was just there. We was on like 15 way. We had like 15 of us on the phone talking about this, like just being excited, bro, because we literally just watched you on this television. And for me to be talking to you now, dude, like I'm a little starstruck a little bit because I followed your career like, I don't know, like you were my brother. So I want to ask you, how did it feel to play for Coach K, and how did
Yeah,
it feel to
man, it
carry the
was
Duke
amazing, man. To
jersey
play
on?
for Coach K was, to play for one of the best coaches to ever coach this game. That's what I wanted to do. It was one of the challenges that I wanted. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. Um, to play with other great players. I mean, when you chose Duke back then, it was nothing but McDonald's All Americans, right? I wanted to go
Mm,
at that. Whoever was there, I was like, man, I'm gonna go at them. Like, there's nothing wrong with competition because that's what I've been through my whole life. All right, who's there? Okay, yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna go at him. I'm gonna earn whatever it is I want to get out of this game. I'm gonna go down there and earn it. So, I mean, and at the end of the day, it was a great decision to go down there. It wasn't easy, obviously. Than this generation to the back then, it was very different. It was more so the 4 year generation, so you had to go down there. You had to
mm-hmm.
really earn it. as a freshman. You weren't just gonna walk in the door and play. You had to wait. You had to wait your turn. Like they tell you that you have to wait your turn. As a
Mm-hmm.
senior, you gotta wait your turn, right? So you would literally hear that. Um, so freshman year, I played a little bit. Sophomore year, came back, took the starting job. Had some that year, got
Yeah.
injured at the end, but then came back, finished strong sophomore year, and then junior year. I mean, the one thing I used to do in the summertime, I used to lock myself in the gym, right? Schedule that would go
Mm-hmm.
from 7 a.m. down in Oxon Hill, Maryland, a private gym. Me and my trainer, one on one, no cameras, nobody around, no friends, no nothing, just me and my trainer for 3 hours. Then I go home, pick up some lunch on the way home, probably stop at a Wawa, grab a little sandwich or something, go take a nap. After my nap, I'll
Yeah.
go out to Columbia, Maryland, and do my agilities training, Vertimax and running training and everything like that. That'll be about an hour. I'd go back, take another nap. Then I would go to University of Maryland, and that's where we play pickup. We play pickup, and that's where everybody would be there. All the players in the area would be there. KDs, Ties, Beasleys, everybody would be at the gym. We'd get it in. So now whatever you did that morning that you worked on, you start applying it to real work on the court. I would do that same thing every single day. Sunday would be a day where I go in the gym and get shots up. I never took a day off, always grind. So that was in between every single summer. So going into that junior year, I was ready to prove, right? I was ready to prove that I finally arrived, right? So that was the year, obviously, we won it.
Yeah.
We win, have a great year. Same thing on repeat. But everybody's now knows who I am now. Don't nothing change. Same blueprint, same trainer, Gary Lampkins. He's my guy. Same gym, no cameras. Let's build. Let's build. So then come back senior year, got Kyrie Irving coming in, right? I know he's a young, talented freshman. Me and Kyle Singler are two seniors, just won a natty. We embrace Kyrie. Come on, let's go, young fella. We got you. He's talented. Like he comes in, we knew he was different. Like he comes in doing
Yeah.
stuff just easy, effortlessly. Kyrie just out of this world. So that stuff you just can't teach, right? That stuff you can't teach.
Yeah.
But then obviously first 8 games he hurts his toe. That year I don't think we lose a game if Kyrie gets hurt. Like we had everything. That senior year team had everything from athleticism. You had the talented Kyrie. You had veterans and me and Kyle. You had Ryan Kelly, Mason Plumlee, Miles Plumlee, Tyler Thornton, Josh Hairston, Seth Ray Dawkins. You had snipers. You had everything you needed. Everything but Kyrie
Yeah.
goes down. Um, so here I am in a position where I got to step up in a big way. So senior year, I end up averaging 21, 6, and 6. I get ACC Player of the Year, National Player of the Year by some sources. Big time year. Just all the work that you put in, it comes down to being ready for that opportunity to take off. Right? Kyrie, obviously, I'm averaging
Yeah.
17. Cool, but I had to go to another level in order to help our team continue to stay where we want to stay and have a chance to win.
My question to you is, you were doing so much at this time, man. Just in the sense of your training, what were you grinding for? So some guys come on and they say, "Yeah, man, I was grinding for my family. I was grinding for." What were you grinding for? Because you were putting in all this work, and
Yeah.
literally, it showed on the court. Everything that you told me, I could imagine you doing it because every time I've ever seen Nolan Smith play basketball, it showed on the court. So, what
Yeah,
were you
I was
grinding for?
always I was always grinding one for my mom and my sister, right? Because when my dad passed away, I saw my mom hurt. I saw our lifestyle change. I saw how she had to work really, really hard and wake up early, go all the way to DC for work, like right. So I saw all that. I saw the lifestyle change. I was like, man, I want to do this for my mom. I want to do this to prove. Second thing outside that, I want to do it to prove everybody wrong. For the people that say, oh man. He's just,
Yeah.
he's just a son. He has the hype. He has the hype of a NBA son, but he's really not that good, right? I had heard all that. I wanted to prove all that wrong, and then personally, I had to just show myself like I'm different. I'm a pro. I'm an NBA player. I had to continue. Why I worked as hard as I
For
did
sure.
every single summer. I dedicated myself to my craft. I blocked out all the noise. I was disciplined. I was focused. I didn't party. Didn't do anything. And some would say, "Oh man, he's weird. He's different." but I was just driven. I was driven in a different way than my peers that just was going to separate myself because at the end of the day, when you're 6'2", when you're not that big, you're not that much of a freak, right? You got to be different. You got to do things different.
Yeah,
You got to move different in order to succeed. And I think that's what I did. That's why I did what I did. Because you always want to prove something to yourself. You want to have your why. You want to always keep that why. Like I said, my mom, my sister were my why. Um, you always had to keep that in the front of your mind. But you always want to do it for yourself too.
yeah. You end up getting drafted number 21 overall to the Trailblazers. How did that feel?
I loved it. I loved it. I mean, it was a
Yeah,
dream come true to hear your name called, first round pick. Go to Portland. It was crazy. That was the lockout year. That was the lockout year. It was a very different
yeah,
draft. Got drafted, flew out to Portland. Get out there. They're like, all right, congrats. We'll see you when we see you. The lockout ended up lasting until around Christmas. I think Christmas Day, I think, were the first games or day after Christmas. But it was very difficult rookie year going into it, half a year, but it was still just you know, the reward at the end of all your hard work. You made it. You've reached a level of success. I still sit around today and just at times humbly just think about the fact that there's only been 4,000, like I think probably 4,400 NBA players in 75 years. Like so to sit here right
yeah.
now and say I'm one of those 4,500 in a long time. Like that's a blessing, man, and I'll never take that for granted. I'm still humbled by that. Still have just straight gratitude for my everybody that helped me get to where I got.
So you end up playing with the Trailblazers, and then you end up going to the D League. So the D League showcase, you end up averaging, I
Yep,
believe, 22 and 5. So now you go there and you showcase your skill. And I don't think a lot of people notice about your story because I always used to wonder. I used to be like, what was going on and what was happening with you? But I didn't know at the time, and this was me doing my research. I didn't know at the time that you
yep,
were battling injuries at this time.
yep,
Could you
yep.
speak a
So
little bit about that?
that G League experience was great. So those couple games was when I was in Portland. I got down there for a couple games. Went down there, took care of business. At the end of my second year at Portland, I went to summer league with the Celtics, and I was getting ready to sign with the Celtics. They actually told me to play one game, and I tore my calf right before I was going to sign a deal
Yeah,
with them, a multiple year deal. Um, so by the time I was going to be healthy, I would have missed training camp. So then I ended up making the decision to go overseas to Croatia. I go to Croatia, have a great year. I loved it, had fun playing the games. I was like, all right, I'm gonna try this overseas thing again. So then I go to Istanbul, Turkey, and I have a team where I have some money issues with the club. I'm sure you've heard many stories of overseas guys have money things. So I had very bad experiences over
yeah,
there. Ended up spending half a year in Istanbul before finally getting released to come home. Once I come home, I play 2 games in the G League, 2 or 3 games in the G League. And on the third game, right before the third game, third or fourth game, the Sixers, they call me. Again, they're like, man, you're doing your thing. Play one more game, and we're going to sign you. So in that game, I tear my ACL. I tear my
wow,
ACL. So I'm sitting in my hotel room or apartment in Delaware, um, and I'm literally sitting watching TV on the ticker. It says the Philadelphia 76ers have signed Tim Frazier to a 2-year deal. So in my mind, I'm crushed. Like Tim Frazier's a good player. Played at Penn State, but in my head, I'm just like, yo, that was my spot. That was my spot. So that crushed me. So I go back to Duke and do my rehab, and I'm there for a whole year. I'm rehabbing, and after a full year of rehab, I hurt my knee again. So I had to have 2 surgeries in about 2 years on the same knee. So at that point, for me, time
yeah.
to start the next career, my next journey. Um, and I started at Duke in my coaching career.
I'm happy that you led right into that for me. Did you always know that you would be a coach? Was that always
Absolutely.
something in your
It
mind?
was always really for me. It was always following in my dad's footsteps. So for him, after his playing career, he got into coaching. So I always wanted to do the same exact thing. So going to Duke, always just kind of
Yeah,
watching Coach K, watching a great coach and how he moved, and then just obviously the ironic timing of being down there with the injury. Coach Jeff Capel came to me. He was like, "Hey man, like I know you're going through with your knee, but just wanted to give you the option that if you want it, you can start your coaching career." I was like, "Dang, all right." So I prayed on it, thought about it, talked to a lot of people. Where's my knee? Um, how do I feel? Feel like a quitter? Am I gonna be letting myself down? Do I still have time in me? Like what do I want to do? So there's so many things going on in your head, right?
hmm
But I feel like I was at the right time, right place, right time, like to start this journey to be under Coach K, to learn as much as I can, and I feel like I had used basketball enough, right? I had accomplished so much.
yeah,
Didn't want to risk further injury to my knee one day. Look, maybe never walk again, right? Don't want to do anything like that crazy. So I was like, you know what? I feel accomplished, right? Didn't feel satisfied. Didn't feel like I really did what I really wanted to do with the game, but I feel like I had done enough to walk away from it and be at peace with my decision to start my coaching career.
for sure. I'm going to get back into the coaching career, but I feel like I would be wrong talking about your story without mentioning Johnny Dawkins and how much he meant to your career and your decisions just as a being a Duke and also being younger, just being a father,
Yep.
being a father figure for you. I would be remiss if I didn't mention him. So you go to Duke and you end up being on the staff at Duke. Was your plan always to go to Louisville, or did
Man,
that opportunity just
once
fall in
again,
your
just
lap?
God's timing, man. God's timing. Obviously, finished the last year with Coach K, which was amazing. A lot going on with that team. Made it to the Final Four, and then you just got to follow your heart, follow your mind, your spirit, and everything's the way everything was going. Um, Kenny Payne gets the job, and he was like my dad's best friend, like brothers. I called him Uncle KP. It's almost like the same reason why I went to Duke. Dad were teammates with the Sixers. Like a lot of people think, oh, you went there because of Coach K. No, really, it was my relationship and connecting to Johnny Dawkins that led me to Duke. Same thing. Here it is again. Kenny Payne. Oh, I get to go home. I get to go back to Louisville. I get to really be where my dad laid his trademark and his everything here in the city of Louisville with Kenny Payne and do something that was challenging, right? I think in life we always should be searching for new challenges, right? I'm the type of dude I don't never want to get too comfortable, right? I love a challenge. I love new. I love something that's not easy, right? So this was me to go do something that
Hmm
was going to be remembered, right? Louisville was in a place that needed a change, needed a new staff, and here we go. Like we took this on. We're ready to make something special here, and it's coming.
For sure. I want to tell you that I'm proud of what you have done, man. You have been literally a staple of just a great human being. Yeah, I would say, as a person, I'm looking from the outside looking in. Literally, I told you, man. Every day, me and my homie, we turning on those Duke games, and we literally watching just to see you. And of course, John Shire, Cal Singular, these all were great players as well. But you were the person that looked like us, that we were able to look up to and be like,
Yep.
man, I want to go to Duke and I want to be like that guy. So I do want to say, man, I'm proud of what you have done to be at Louisville now. And dude, it's just crazy because your father went there, your father won a national championship there. You were able to go to the league like your father. And I'm more than sure your father is looking down on you, proud of you. And the reason why I say I'm more than sure, because my father proud of you. So I talked to my dad before I came on the interview, and my dad was like, "Hey, make sure you tell Nolan, man. Hey, good stuff." I'm like, "You never even told me that. Like, you never even tell me nothing like that. Like, bro, like what's going on right now? So my dad's proud of you, man, and you literally have gave memories to kids like me across the nation, bro. And we literally looked up to you,
Nah,
Nolan
I
Smith.
appreciate
I
you, man. Tell
appreciate you,
your dad
man,
I said thank you, and nah, man, like it's humbling, man, just to hearing your words to me. I really appreciate it for real.
for sure. No, I appreciate you, man. Me and my homies, man, we were so geeked to have you on here, man. It's like a dream come true, man. So I do want to say I'm proud of you. I can't wait to see what you do with that Louisville team, man. Keep being you, man. Keep
Yes, sir.
being this great spirit, this great guy
Appreciate you.
that
Thanks
you
for
are.
having me on, brother.
Oh, no,
Yes, sir.
thanks for coming, man. I appreciate you.